pointless to have your barbecue if you don't have any fuel. I don't know how many times this has happened to you. It's happened to me several times. You go out, you're planning to make the big barbecue, you're having all the friends over, you fire up the grill, and it worked for about 5 minutes, and then it's done. Oh shoot, I didn't check how much propane I have. So you go, hold on everybody, I'm going to go run to the store, go buy, you know, some propane and come back, and then all the dogs are all cold again and you have to start all over again. So my recommendation is have 2 propane tanks. One's full at all time. That way you can swap them out. I have this little pony tank that for just, I have lots of propane tanks, but this one's small enough to bring around. But this one I have as well as a backup for my tent trailer and for my barbecue and everything else. It's just a backup propane tank. If any of them go, if I run out, switch out, there you go. So if you're relying on, fuel to take care of you, and okay, well I'll just use my Weber grill. Well, how many briquettes do you have for backup with your Weber grill to cook? Because you may or may not be able to go run out and get some. So buy the briquettes, buy the gas, buy the propane, buy the butane, whatever your cooking method is. Make the old candle cooking stove, cooking fuel in advance and store them around. And have them available to you so you don't have to go digging for it. Also, terribly important. Do you have one of these? I don't mean a Zippo lighter. I just really like Zippo lighters. But if you are relying on these fuel sources, your fuels to light these or anything else, do you have matches? Do you have boatloads of them? You know, it's funny, in the olden days, when, and not actually probably not that old, stoves were not self-lighting. Every house had kitchen matches. In fact, they're called kitchen matches. Well, kitchen matches. Setting above the stove, because that's how you lit your stove. They didn't light automatically. Don't rely on just one box of matches or one lighter or anything else. As I've said before, it's really nice to have multiple devices in case they don't work, in case you have to move. No one thing solves your problem. These are really great. I have 50 of these at home. If I have to leave my home, I don't necessarily have all of those with me. So I have lighters in my truck and all over the place, so I don't have to go without them. Extra fuel, backup fuel for whatever you're using, because you have no idea how long you're going to be without fuel. So having backup fuel, having backup briquettes, things to start your fires and to get your fire started. For everybody here gets a gift, and I have one grand prize for the best question of the day too. This is my favorite. My children think this is the grossest thing ever, and if you open this up, you'll agree. It's just like the grossest thing ever, but it's a chicken in a can. Can anybody tell me what these all have in common?
They store.
What's that?
They'll store.
They'll store.
Well, they need a can opener.
We'll get to that in a second.
Okay.
Not that one.
You could cook whatever it is inside the can.
That too?
They're a meal in itself. Well, beggars can't be choosers.
All of these do not require cooking.
Well, that's true.
They are all pre-cooked. And as you said, some of them you have to open with a can opener. Some of them have pull tops. But they do not require cooking. If all of your stored food that you have for a short term or a long term requires cooking, then you're going to be using up fuel at a high rate. All of these can or should be warmed, but they don't require it. When I put out the spam, my son says my son will not eat raw spam. He says, "Oh, it's just gross. It's already cooked." It does not require cooking. This only requires warming. if you're going to eat it and make it a little more palatable. Warming something is easy, less fuel. Cooking something takes more fuel. So if you're making rice or beans or something like that, long cooking time, right? The cooking rice or beans works really good with the hot box method. Bring it up to temperature, put it in the hot box, let it just sit there and do the rest of its cooking on its own. But having things like this, Dak hams, already pre-cooked. This requires no water. Most of these, by the way, do not require any additional water, any additional anything. They are a food all by itself. If you had to, you could just pop the can and eat it with a spoon. Might not be what you desire to do, but you certainly could if you don't have any other cooking method or anything else. So buying your food with the idea that I want to use the minimal amount of water and the minimal amount of fuel to make a meal, then this would be great. These will also, the pre-cooked, no have to add anything else, or soup, anything else like that. Works really great with the hot box method. Put it in a cast iron pot or put it in a pot, you bring it up to a temperature real kind of quick, and then turn the fuel off, put it in the hot box for 10 minutes. It'll be plenty warm to eat without using, not cooking it for the 3 or 4 minutes like you do on a normal stove to make it a food. Now you mentioned having a can opener. Very inexpensive. But if you have no power, you're going to have to get out a chisel and a hammer to get into this. Or if you want to, I can show you how to do it on concrete. But you can, you were with us. We went to Kern. We went camping in Kern River. And I think Dana was there too. We went camping in Kern River. We took off for the day to go hiking up a mountain. We were going to have lunch. And we got out and we set up everything except nobody had a can opener. So they had to use my knife, right? I think it was you and my wife with a knife, trying to open, and I mean, that's just a recipe for slicing off a finger, But they did it. They opened the cans, but that's just not a good idea. So make sure you have a can opener or two. Like I said, go to the store. They're relatively inexpensive. I mean, you can buy expensive ones, but they don't cost much at all. The other thing to have is the old-fashioned church key. I don't know why they're called church keys, but they certainly are. These things too. Bottle openers, what they're called, right?
Don't lock the church doors.
Yeah. They are terribly inexpensive, but extremely functional. I don't have one, but you can make what's called a hobo stove. Go home, Google it, look up a hobo stove. They're really easy to make. We have number 10 tins for storing stuff, right? Take a church key with a can opener in it, punch it, holes around the top. Make a hole in the side. You can use any of these fuel sources, leaves, twigs, whatever, and make what's called a hobo stove. Well, you can't make one, or it's more difficult if you don't have a church key. Bottle opener, church key. This will also get into any can, and it's because it's non-mechanical. There's nothing to break. If this breaks, you can use this to get into any one of these cans. Or my other favorite one, because it's so small, so easy, it's what's known as a P38. These things... I'm running around this week trying to find them. I have hundreds of these things. I couldn't find a one because I stick them all in my survival and things. I had to get this one out of my truck because that's where it is. It's called a P38. It was invented I think it was during World War II. I could be wrong. The reason it's called a P38 is it takes 38 turns to get in a C ration, the old way in World War II. Small piece of aluminum with a little sharp, looks like a little shark fin. This goes on the edge of a can, has a little notch there that goes under the rim, and you just twist it and go around. The reason it's called a P38 is because it takes 38 turns to go all the way around one of the C or K rations in World War II. But this, almost no mechanical problems, works forever, weighs nothing, and will open cans. This is really good for working with a cup of water. Really easy, small volumes of water. Add to this, it's a food, it's lightweight, easy to cook. Cooks in its own sealed thing. We've all eaten them, right? Come on, fess up. You've had mac and cheese and you've eaten these things once or twice. Works really well. The other thing, other than the chicken in a can, by the way, you can cook this chicken in a can in its own can. Put it over something like this, cook it right in its own can, and you take it out and eat it. I didn't say it was... Mark says, not a chance, huh? Trust me, if you're hungry, you'll eat this. Actually, what I do, when I serve it with the kids, is we cook them and then take it out and then just debone it and then put it in a salad or something like that, and it works really. Just eating it like it is if you took it out of the can, you'd go, no.
I'll eat MRE.
Yeah. This is an MRE. This MRE stands for meal ready to eat. In here, that's one of the reasons why they're really nice is because it has, I believe each one of these is 1,500 calories to 2,000 calories, all untold. Has all kinds of stuff. This one's on the old site because you can see all the crackers are all broken up. I've used this one for demonstration for years and years. The food, most of them are pretty good some of them are very good. Some of them are okay, not great. But it has a heater in here. Just add water, heats your food, and you have a meal, a drink, a snack, and spoon, and lighter, and matches, and condiments, and everything you need in here is a nice food source and an alternate cooking method for cooking that source. The other thing that you should never be without, in my not to be missed opinion, is some kind of water flavoring. Yes, I have 500 gallons of water. After drinking water for 4 or 5 days, I really want something different. I'm tired of drinking just water. Well, go get some Kool-Aid or whatever. This stuff stores like forever. If it gets old, it just gets hard and crystallized. So you just put it in water and it dissolves. It's not crystallized anymore. Lasts almost forever, and it's nice to not have to drink just straight regular water. And if you don't have water, and if you have to boil water to drink it, this makes the boiled water much more palatable, because boiled water just doesn't taste good. So flavoring it with Kool-Aid or lemonade or whatever that you happen to have really makes a huge difference. Last but not least, I can't do this without making a pitch. This, I don't know if you ever saw my videos on 365 meals. These are prepackaged meals that we made. These are our own kind of homemade MREs. In this package is white bean chowder. It's basically just add water and boil, and they're extremely good. When we first did this project in our house, I invented this process. We made these meals. I was going to have 365 of them, one for every day for our family for a year. And then after we got one out and made it, and it fed our family. It was really good. My children, in fact, ate it all up. It was enough food for my family for 2.5 meals. All of my family had 2 meals, and then my wife and I had lunch on it. So it was way more than just one meal for a family. But these are sealed, are good for about 20 years, and I have my whole son's beds filled with them. I have hundreds of them. I was going to make 365, then I realized I didn't need 365. I have about I think we're down to 150 because I've given away a whole bunch of them. There's my plug of the day. All right, here's the other important thing. Condiments. You're making the chicken in the can, and your kids go, "No, I'm not eating that." Well, if you smother something in enough ketchup, or hot sauce, or Tabasco sauce, or whatever, right? Or if you've stocked up on, you went to Costco, and you now have 475 cans of chicken, I guarantee you after day 3, it's called, food lament? No. Anyway, you get tired of eating the same food over and over again. If you have condiments, hot sauce, mustard, ketchup, salt, pepper, and whatever your favorite condiments are, you can make whatever it is more palatable. I don't like it, Mom. Here, it's covered with ketchup. Eat that. So make sure you have condiments, paper supplies, paper napkins, paper plates, paper spoons, plastic cups, aluminum foil. You can use this as a pot to cook stuff in if you need to. Double it over, put it in your barbecue. Use that to make your meatloaf in. Actually, double over tinfoil makes really good meatloaf if you don't have a pot or a pan. So make sure you have those extra things, paper plates, paper spoons, paper napkins, so you don't have to do dishes. Remember, water is should you ever need to use any of them, you will be prepared in advance, and it will be easy to do. Thank you. I appreciate you coming today and participating. You can applaud. I like applause.